Alrighty, and we're live streaming. The live button just came on. Welcome everyone to another episode of Witches Winging It with me, Buffy, and my co-hostesses with the mostesses, my witchy poo, my witchy sister from another mister, Jen Dodson. How are you doing, Jen?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm just peachy, smiling every day of my life. Look at
All we
this
can
face.
do.
Yeah. I'm doing
Mhm.
good. All we can do at this point.
That's
Oh, look.
it.
Dave Cummings is in the chat.
Another day.
Tim, you fixed your private chat. You can actually get on the chat now. Tim is in the chat now on StreamYard. I'm so excited. I don't have to separate my chats. So I know you are sounds like you got a lot of things on your plate. We were talking about you know, you being a little stressed at work there trying to get everything done. And
Yeah,
look, is that a tail or a paw in the face?
that's a tail. She could hear you talking, so she
I
was.
thought it was like one of these like
No, it was her tail.
sexy girl. Oh my goodness. She's so
She
cute.
got
She's so
upset. She thought she got
stinking
locked out of the
cute.
room.
Oh no, that can't happen. That's why this door has to remain open in my office, because God's forbid if Maven feels like she is being left out of anything, right? Left out of the chance to parkour off of my altar and screw things up after I fix them 900 times, Just
Yeah, she came up to the door. I had shut it all the way, and I could hear her out there. And I could hear the steps, and then Bruce opened the door, and he's like, "There you go." So now she's going to
like,
sit here.
Mom, how could you have forsaken me? You left me outside. Oh, terribleness. You've disappeared forever. You're never to return. Oh my goodness.
Say hi to everybody.
Oh, hey, Dave. Dave Cummings is in the chat now. Hi, baby girl. Hi, Hexy. She's so stinking cute.
She's
So
just purring along.
stinking cute. She reminds me of one of the cats they had at Save the Stray Schuylkill when I did the charity event a couple weeks ago. They had I felt so bad for him because he was in one of those gigantic kennels with his litter mates, I guess. And they were all playing around, and here he was just stuck to the side of the cage. His name was Hercules.
Aww.
And Hercules was an all black cat. And I just felt so bad because I tried playing with him, but he was like, "Yeah, I'm uninterested, lady. Just leave me alone. I'm just gonna hang."
He's like, I am not feeling this at all.
Yeah, I am not feeling this adoption thing, whatever you're doing. But what made me feel really sad is the other two kittens that were in the kennel with him got adopted.
Aww.
Magic and me got adopted.
Like, I sit there and I see those things all the time where they have the adoption events, and then it's always like the SPCA or whatever is the ones for the dogs. And at the end, they're like, this is the last dog that was left. And I feel so bad because it's always like an older senior dog, and nobody wants a senior dog, or it's got medical issues. And it looks so sad at the end, just sitting there with this sad look on its face, knowing that they're the last one left and nobody wants them. And like I tell Bruce every time, you're lucky we don't have a farm because you'd be in so much trouble.
She'd be taking all the dogs, Bruce. All the dogs, honey.
Oh,
she would be taking all the dogs.
I'd be so
That's
bad.
all I can say. That would be horrible. And then they make you feel bad because then they post the most pitiful picture, right? I think they train the dog to look pitiful, right? And then like, okay, oh, there were 100 adoptions today from blah, 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 agency, but Scooter's the only one left. Look, He's
The
still
last,
looking for his forever home.
yeah, the last one I seen was it was this little dog. I want to say it was like a miniature pinscher, and his name was Hot Dog, and he had
Hot dog.
a hot
Oh.
dog, and he actually had like a vest or something that they had on him that had little miniature hot dogs on the vest. And he was the cutest thing. You could tell he was older. He had like the white in his face and stuff, but he had some medical issues, and they ended up like taking him on like the news or something, and did like a news segment with him. And by the time they had gotten to the news segment, like someone honestly had stepped forward, like he had some kind of issue that he needed like heart medicine or something, then he had to take it every day. So they had someone anonymously had donated enough money to cover a year's worth of the heart medication for him. Somebody else donated something that had for him for next year. And the dog was 13. I was like, come on, people. Like, I mean, let's get him in. You know, you've got all that donated to you. Like, let's give him, you know, a great last year or so of his life. I mean, he's older, but
he deserves the last couple of years and maybe 2 years of his life to be like the bestest 2 years ever, just to be involved. And you know what? Here's the thing. Because Donna and Tim have a couple of dogs, right? And I would say, look, just call Tim up. Just show a picture to Donna. And I bet you Mr. Hot Dog would have been, it wouldn't even have lasted 5 minutes. They would have been like, here's his plane ticket, send him on an airplane. We're flying him down. We'll meet you at the airport, Yeah. So, but Tim and Donna's dogs are the cutest dogs. If you're new to our chat, our podcast, Tim is our producer and his lovely wife Donna, and they have the cutest dogs ever. That are just, they are just the cutest things. You want to eat them all up. Tim says, I had some heart medicine last night. Fixed a pot of Pintos. Couldn't sleep a wink last night. What? This man. These doggies are special show dogs. They're special show dogs, apparently. To Tim. They're show dogs. I had a show dog once. Yeah, my Boston Terrier. He was one of my show dogs. That dog, can I tell you the amount of mass hysteria that goes back behind the scenes of a dog show? I almost lost my mind. They're back there with, didn't fix any cornbread. Oh my goodness. Tim is going off the rails. He's talking about cornbread, dogs, and all kinds of crazy heart medication. But they're like back there with professional makeup artists, professional hair artists. They've got like people, doing blowouts on Afghan hounds. Like, who does that?
I want to know how they train their dogs to hold still for that, because I try to blow dry my dogs when I give them a bath, and the German Shepherd, you might as well forget it. He's going to try to eat whatever it is that you have. Yeah. So it's just, it's a lost cause. They have a lot of tricks. They do treats, but then when the dog has been in the show ring for so long, it becomes normal for them. Yeah. It's like, another dog show, whatever. Okay, take the hair dryer, whatever. They bait them with treats to like sit still, and you may not see it, but they have it in their hand. And it's the amount of like shite that goes on behind the scenes that should get you disqualified. Like putting eye makeup on certain dogs, covering stains with like white eyeliner, putting clear coats on nail polishes that or clear coats on dogs' nails that shouldn't be, hiding things with hairspray,
things that shouldn't be. But hey, Joanne, what's up, witches? Jim says, "What's up, witches?" Joanne says, "Good evening, all wonderful witches, all you wonderful witches out there." Hey, Jojo.
Hello.
Hey, bro. Hey, Lucy. But it's just amazing, and you do there, and you're like, you can do that, like. The dog's anemic, so let's put pink lipstick on the inside of the dog's mouth so that it looks pink. It's just wow. I had to leave though. Every time he was in a show, I had to walk away. Like I had to hide behind a pole because if he saw me, he would spaz out. He was a Boston Terrier. And they're just the spazziest dogs ever. Mm-hmm. We used to call him Spaz. It was King Spaz in the house. So I would literally have to watch the show from the stands, but like hide behind a telephone pole. Because if he saw me, immediate spaz out, He would be fine. That as soon as he would walk in the ring, close the door, the chest would come out, the legs and the back would go out stiff. The head would go up, and he'd prance himself down and around in a circle. And I'm king dog here. Yep, I'm top dog. Look at this. Look at this. Look at these muscles in my legs. Then we had to take him back before the judging. You take him back behind the curtain and total spaz. He would freak the hell out. He was like psycho dog. I don't know what it was, but he was like psycho dog. The only thing worse is kitty beauty pageants. I agree with you there, Desiree. Desiree says the only thing worse is kitty pageants. Donna has different treats for different tricks. Yeah, they do. They have separate treats for certain tricks that they do. No cornbread. What did he say? No cornbread. Oh my goodness. Tim's out here talking about didn't fix any cornbread. No cornbread now. That's a crime, as Dave Cummings. Tim said, well, I don't need Evie yanking on my ears. One dog went to Oregon. Another two of his dogs went to Puerto Rico. One to Paris, France, and one to New York, Georgia. You go, Tim. Tell Donna she's fabulous with these dogs. If they've gotten that far, that's a big thing, a very big thing. And yes, you don't want Evie yanking on your ears. So, what's cooking, Jen? What do we got cooking tonight for the show?
Well, unfortunately, since I've been so busy, I haven't been able to research like I wanted to.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I was originally looking into werewolves and shapeshifters. A story that I came across did catch my attention.
Okay.
And, it was a story that a woman had been telling that she had met this guy and they kind of hit it off a little bit and they decided to, kind of keep seeing each other. And she ended up going to his place, which was way out in the middle of the woods. She said there was like no road to get there. Like you literally had to take a road to a spot and park, and then you literally took ATVs from there back to where his cabin was that he stayed. So I'm sitting there thinking at first, like in my mind, if that had been me, I'm thinking I'm not coming back from this. I don't know how well I would have did that. But she went with it. And she said they, had started to have like a relationship. And she said it was a little weird. Like he was a little different than most guys. She said he was very tall. I think she said he was like 6'3", 6'4", very muscular, long hair, the whole thing. During the time that they were kind of seeing each other, he took her to introduce her to his aunt, who also lived in a cabin in the woods not far from him. She said, she said she met the aunt, and she said, she seemed very nice. She was a little bit older. She goes, I didn't really get any bad feelings or anything like that. She said, but it was weird. She said, because on the outside of his cabin and her cabin that she had noticed were these symbols. And she had asked him one time, like, what the symbols were. And he said he just kind of like brushed it off, didn't really, answer as to what they were. One night she was there and she was spending the night, and he said he was going out for a walk and he would be back, and for her to stay in the cabin and not come outside.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so she, said, I decided to, follow him. She was like, I was trying to, figure out what was going on. She goes, it's the middle of the night, it's pitch black out here. He left with no flashlight, and he ended up hearing her and, stopped and like stepped out of a tree and was like, I thought I told you to stay at the cabin. And she's like, well, she goes, I was kind of scared to stay there by myself, and she goes, it's very dark out here. And she goes, and I thought I could go for a walk with you. And she said he seemed to get very frustrated and like upset about it, but he said he ended up going anyway. They ended up at his aunt's cabin, and they went inside and they had been talking, and she ended up getting tired and fell asleep on the couch. So when she woke up to some noises, and she said she still laid there. And, she goes, I kind of like, acted like I was still sleeping. And she said that she heard the aunt say, did you catch anything? And he said, the only thing I got was a rabbit. So she's thinking, is he hunting in the middle of the night? Like, what's going on? And she said she kind of like opened her eyes a little bit to kind of like look over and noticed that there was a blood on the front of him. And he was saying, I guess, to the aunt that he needed to go clean up so he could take her home. So she said after that, she goes, I just told him that I didn't think that we were, seeing like on the same like plane there. She's like, things just didn't seem to be working out. She goes, so I cut it loose. And she goes, and that's the last I ever heard from him or anything. But I'm sitting there thinking like, and then I read, all those books and those paranormal romances. And I was like, girl, you got yourself a werewolf. What you walk away for?
This girl, that sounds like an episode of Twilight somewhere. I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
That just, wow.
So that got me thinking. And I was like, well, you know what? Maybe we could talk about that. And I did try to look up some stuff. I got some information on, lichens and like where it originated and stuff like that. But my question to everyone out there is, what does everyone else think? I mean, is there werewolves? Are there lichens? Are there shapeshifters that can turn into wolves? Like, what's everybody's thoughts?
Right. Tim said, good thing she cut it off. She stopped that relationship right there.
I don't know, Tim. Some of us that read these books might think that red flag is pretty green from here.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I want to see what everybody says. That's my big thing. Oh my goodness. I want them to start coming in. I mean, but honestly, to be totally honest, girl, it took you all them clues to break that shit off, because I would have been like, first of all, as soon as it's somewhere back in the woods, and I got you drive me up to a spot where I got to now take an ATV, boy, bye. This sounds like some kind of commercial for a horror movie. And this white girl is not getting axed by anybody or anything. I'm just saying. Unless it's my own dang fault where I trip and, which is probably likely, trip and break my neck or something. I don't know, because I'm graceful like that. Uh, Tim says they are real. Dave Cummings says, to be honest, I would not be surprised. I've heard stories about not vampires, werewolves. I mean,
I know in my research in Wisconsin, they talk a lot about, I think it's the Bray Road wolf. I think what information I had downstairs, but they do have a lot of sightings in Wisconsin, I guess, not just around like the road that they're talking about, like in general, the whole state.
Right.
But I just thought it was weird because I feel like every time you go on TikTok or every time you talk to somebody has a vampire story. They've come in contact with somebody that, they swear is a vampire, or especially in New Orleans,
right.
The vampire, they met him at the bar, or they got in their Uber, or, whatever. But you never actually hear any stories really, to me, I haven't found, of werewolves. And that was the first one that kind of caught my attention when she's telling it. And, and she doesn't have any actual facts. She didn't see him turn into a wolf. It was just a lot of strange things that happen that, I mean, for people like us, when you start putting things together and, you're looking at all the clues, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. You don't have to be part of the Mystery Machine gang to understand any of this. There are, let's see, Desiree said, I definitely wouldn't mind living in the woods away from people. Sounds like heaven. Tim says, in our native culture, we believe in the shapeshifters, as we don't talk about them in their true form, but use other names for them. So we all know what Tim is talking about. If you've watched our programs between this one, Paranormal Talk 2, and Corner Cauldron, you've heard us and you've been with us from the very beginning. You know that Tim has mentioned them quite often. We've mentioned them quite often as far as shapeshifters. We all know what they are. Even though I am not of native culture or ethnic background, I choose to respect and not use those words or say them out loud ever. I really don't. And it's out of respect for my friends that are Native American in culture. I don't want to disrespect, even though Tim has told me multiple times, you can say it, we just can't say it. And we all know about the ranch out there that starts with SW. That's one word for them. And then you have the W word, which I will not say. I don't say those names out of respect. And that's just that. Shapeshifter, also, I know many Native Americans, Dave Cummings says, shapeshifters also, I know many Native Americans thanks to different historical societies and Nanticoke Museum. Well, I don't know how many people know that Delaware, you had the Lenni Lenape, you had the Nanticoke, and you have the Delawarean Indians, or Native Americans, Delawarean Native Americans, that were all from parts of Delaware. The Lenni Lenape came all the way from Pennsylvania and went into Delaware. So there is a lot of, and then you had the Lenape massacre happen at Cape Henlopen. I think it was on the night before Thanksgiving. The story goes that there was a chief whose daughter was getting married, and the Lenni Lenape they were having her wedding ceremony there on the shores in the sand with her betrothed, her loved one, and all of the family was there. Both sides were Native American, and all of a sudden the colonials came out of nowhere and slaughtered every single one of them. They even scalped the chief. And the story goes that conditions are right the night before Thanksgiving. If you go out to Cape Henlopen and you stare at the water and it's a full moon, that you can see Native Americans rising out of the waves, coming back on shore to seek their revenge. Terrible story. So sad to hear. I mean, they weren't doing anything. They were celebrating a wedding. And yet, here we go. Here comes the white man again. Let's just, ruin everything that's, wholesome and happy, and just, let's just ruin it for everybody. Let's see. I think you don't hear stories because they keep to themselves, according to Desiree, when she was talking about werewolves or lichens. That Nightwalker show, Tim says that Nightwalker show is very questionable. It's the show that I don't know what channel it's on, History Channel, Travel Channel, whatever. The one about the ranch?
Where I've seen it. Yeah.
I find it extremely questionable. Just saying that anyone who believes that show, please just, I don't know, just shut your TV off. You don't deserve to have a TV because everything is real to you. I don't know. Tim says, they tried to annihilate this, but we're still here for I'm the 7th generation, can't kill us off. Go ahead, Jen.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I've seen it, and we all know, like, from past owners of the property, like, some stuff does happen there. There has been some questionable stuff that has happened.
Yes.
But then with the show, like, there's too much. They come across way too much. There's no way you're getting all of that. Like, it's great. I don't care that you bought the ranch and you're there every day. And, most of us have ghosts that live in our homes, and I still don't have stuff that happens every day. So I tend to, that's why when, like, I watch ghost, shows and stuff like that.
Right.
Like Ghost Hunters. Everybody say, why do you watch that? They don't really ever find anything. And I was like, that's why I watch it. Because when you're watching something and they have evidence every show, it's just not believable. You know that, I know that, we all know that. It's not believable because they don't perform for us. They're not just like, oh, hey, here they are with their recorders and their cameras, let's do something. It doesn't work that way. So when I'm watching Ghost Hunters and you're watching a show and you might go through the whole thing and you might catch just a small clip of a voice that, and I could still be straining my ears trying to figure out, like, what did they say? Like, I know they said this, but I don't hear that. Like, that's what you want to be able to say, you know what? This is a possibility. This is, probably, what's going on over here. But to watch a show, and every show you just got stuff that happens like back to back to back, like, come on, like, it doesn't. So it's for ratings, and and hey, kudos to them for how long it's been running. I give them props.
Apparently it's still popular, to be totally honest. I totally agree with Tim and with Desiree. Desiree says that she stopped watching all those shows basically because I honestly think they're more baloney than actual truth. You got an Aho Jen from Tim, and Jim says, bro says, Chuck Wagon's shite. And I totally agree with him. It is Chuck Wagon's shite. Yeah, and it's the security guard. The security guard, are you for real? That if it's a ghost or an alien, you're gonna shoot it with an AK-47. That you feel the need to have like 10 guards with AK-47s at a ranch. Listen, and to get evidence every single time. You're right. You're right. It is more baloney than it is actual real hard evidence. And for me, the only show that I will continue to watch is Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunters, and I will watch Dead Files. Dead Files is another one that you find a very good show. It's the medium, whose name is Amy Allen, and I don't even know if the show is on yet anymore. I think they stopped the show, but when they were on, it was Deshavi was a homicide detective in the city of New York for a very long time, and he retired from that, and they put him together with Amy Allen, who's a medium. She's a physical medium like me, so she feels death. She feels how they died, or they make her feel like she is part of that moment of death. So she knows how the person died, or she can say it, she can feel it. She's very much like me. They never meet ever until the very end of the show. Like, he goes off and does his detective work during the day, going to libraries and all this other good stuff. And picking out all of the evidence, going through names, incidents that may have happened, records of homeowners and all that good stuff. And she goes at night with her husband, who drives in a van. They drive up to the house. He goes in first, the husband, prior to picking her up. He takes things off the walls that could possibly lead her to be jaded or give, something by seeing pictures of family and whatnot. And what he cannot remove, he covers with black cloths. And then she goes in, they get out of the car, and he starts filming. From the minute they get out of the car until the end, the only time that Steve Deshavi and Amy Allen ever meet is at the end when they're talking to the client. She also has someone draw a forensic artist draw the spirit or the thing that stuck out to her most during the entire time, or what she remembers that scared her the most, and then she has them draw it and bring it out in a folder. Even with Ghost Hunters, the first thing Jason does with his crew is debunk. We have said it a million times, and you've said it, I've said it. You've been on cases or little investigations with me where we debunk things first. Bruce is a great debunker. Your husband Bruce loves picking stuff apart.
Yes, he does.
He loves picking stuff apart, which is great. He would be a great paranormal investigator because that's what he does first. If you've gone through all the scientific things, right? Scientific tests that you could possibly do there, right? And you still can't come to a satisfactory conclusion that something scientific made that noise or made the room, the chair move or open the door, then you look more towards the paranormal. I will tell you that I had the opportunity of meeting Jason Hawes and the crew, Steve Gonzalez, Dave, all of them from Ghost Hunters when I went to Paracon this year at Pennhurst. And I will tell you, speaking to him for about 10, 15 minutes, he is the most genuine. If he said it on the show, he's saying it to your face. He's very huggy. He's very lovey. He shakes your hand. He's funny. He's honest. And he talked to you the entire time in line. There was a line of bazillion people behind us. He didn't care if he was there an extra 3 hours. He was going to shake everybody's hand and give them 15 minutes and say, what got you into the paranormal? I heard you in line talking about this, kind of like the same thing I did, and a bazillion pictures. Great guy. Absolutely great guy. Jim says the Holzer files are good as well. Desiree says that she doesn't like Amy. Maybe she doesn't like Amy Allen because she believes every dark shadow is evil. That's not necessarily true. Yes, loves ghost hunters. I got a phone call. I would say she said, "Sorry, I got a phone call from mom." She was talking to mom. Tim says, I have some news for a guest. Some news for a guest that will be coming on who's done investigating with ghost hunters and exhibition. Exhibition along with Jason Hawes. She's done investigating with the team Wraith Chasers. She's a very good friend of mine. I won't put her name out there to the public right now. I used to make music with her cousin a long time ago, but she has moved on to the spirit realm now. Oh my goodness. Let's all jump on the whack wagon party. The Chuck Wagons party. Is he talking about Chuck Wagons? Look how he's typing in there. Can you see him typing away?
No.
Whack Wagons. He's called it Whack Wagons. We're on the Whack Wagons. Tim says we're on the Whack Wagons. Dave Cummings says he met them in New Jersey. So I'm glad I hope he had the same experience I had because they were great. Anyway, getting back to it. I definitely believe that there are things out there that we cannot explain. I do believe that there are lichens out there. Jen, why don't you explain what a lichen is? Because we want to be appropriate when we talk about lichens.
So a lichen is someone who can only turn during a full moon. Usually when they turn, they can't control themselves. They can't control what they do. So if they go on a murder spree, they have no choice but to do it because it's the animal that's kind of taking the lead of their transformation and going haywire. There's, werewolf, which is pretty much the same thing, changes during the full moon. But they, instead of being on their hind legs and more of a human prone position, they're going to be more of your like wolf looking transformation. And then a shapeshifter, if you have a shapeshifter that can shapeshift into a wolf, they can do it at will whenever they want. They don't need a full moon.
Correct. And y'all can forget about the Joanne, your sister goes, yeah, what's a lichen?
Has you ever watched Underworld?
Apparently not. I mean, I don't know. Tim says, hey, my big fingers can't hit the keys like they should. And I said, Tim, we love you. We're just teasing you. But yeah, and listen, everybody who's watched, what is your thought, Jen, on the whole silver bullet deal? The silver bullets, the crosses, all that good stuff.
For a werewolf or a lichen, here's the thing. None of us know. We only know what we've learned in books and movies and stuff like that. And I'm a firm believer in, at some point, these things have been brought as far as they have for us to, learn about. There's got to be some kind of truth to it. So I say, you know what? It's a 50-50. I mean, we'll never know unless we're put in that position. I don't think that'll ever happen in my lifetime. But it's a 50-50. We've seen, like with vampires, we've seen different movies and stories, and you got Twilight, and they can go out in the sun, but they sparkle. They can eat food, but it doesn't bother. It makes them sick to their stomach, but they can eat it. And then you have some that, they can't eat food at all. They can't be around garlic. They can't look at a cross. They can't touch holy water. Then you have the Vampire Diaries, and Damon walks into the church and he dips his hand in the holy water and does the little cross thing and walks and sits down. It didn't burn him. So, I don't know. It depends. There's a lot of different things that come with the territories of supernatural creatures, and it's just there's got to be some truth in it, I would say. But unless we actually are there and something happens to us, we'll never know 100%.
I tend to agree with you there. I mean, have either of us, come in front of a werewolf? Have we ever seen a werewolf other than in like Harry Potter and the Twilight books and all that other stuff? Which I don't want to sound, I don't know what it is about, werewolves and vampires. Here's the thing. When the Twilight books came out, the Twilight books romanticized everything. They now all these tweeners and the Gen Zers, the millennials, all that, the alphas all believe that vampires are supposed to sparkle, like or that there's always romanticism behind it. There isn't.
The real vampires don't sparkle; they just catch flames.
Yeah, they just burst into flames, and yeah, kind of stuff. I mean, I just wish that they would not fantasize or make it romanticize. That's the word I want to use. Romanticize things like that.
Yeah.
Not all. Like, have you seen someone turn into a werewolf?
Mm-mm.
I mean, they're not going to be handsome. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be handsome. They're going to turn into this dog that looks like it's got mange, and just run around and not know what they're doing and slit your throat and murder the crap out of you. It just doesn't. If you've seen, did you see Nosferatu?
I have not watched
the
that
most
yet.
recent one.
No, not the. It came on and I got like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes into it, where I think her husband that was pulled away to go wherever to leave her behind. That's as far as I got. And I have to go back and I have to finish it.
Right. Well, I won't spoiler alert anything. I won't spoil it for you. But watch Nosferatu. I think I will tell you that I was disappointed with that movie. I thought that there was so much more that they could have done with the characters, especially Willem Dafoe's character. I think they could have done so much more. That he was such a great actor that they kind of like, I don't know, I want to say gave him a shitty role kind of thing. And he took it. That he could have done so much more with his character that he played.
And that sucks because he's a good actor.
Watch Nosferatu. Yeah. Watch Nosferatu and look at Nosferatu himself. Desiree says, can I volunteer to find one? I wouldn't if I were you, Desiree. You are blinded by things that are in romance novels, in Twilight, in all these movies, even in Bram Stoker's Dracula. They made the lead character who played Dracula extremely handsome when he was young. You have to understand that vampires and some werewolves, lichens especially, have the ability to do what is called glamour spells. So if you ever know what a glamour spell, you know what a glamour spell is, right, Jen?
Yeah.
Or they call it a shimmer, glimmer, glamour spells.
Well, it's like a weapon for them because it's meant to draw you in so they can eat. So yeah.
Right. So they can put a glamour spell on themselves, or what they call a shimmer glimmer spell on themselves, to make themselves appear very handsome to you, or very gorgeous if it's the opposite sex, gorgeous, to woo you into being hypnotized by them. And then all of a sudden you're dead. You're dead. I mean, even Interview with a Vampire. I mean, come on, it had Brad Pitt in it. Come on now. Brad Pitt with the long hair and the whole sexy outfits and all that good stuff. And the old timey clothing and even what they wore. I'm not so much a Tom Cruise fan. I was when it came out a huge Brad Pitt fan. Now not so much, but that was 30 years ago, I guess, 20 years ago that he made the movie.
It was a while back.
It was a while back. Again, that was another fantasy or romanticizing what happened. How many people wound up dead in the streets?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch that movie.
What? Interview with a Vampire?
I don't know what it was. I did like Brad Pitt back in the day. I think that was at a time where I was kind of falling off of the Tom Cruise era. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I just don't even want to watch it. I don't know what it was. So I never watched it. To this day, I have still never seen that movie. So I should probably sit down and watch it. But
yeah, you got to go back and watch it. You got to go back and just watch it for the romance part of it. Because it is neat. In fact, at one point, they thought that Jack the Ripper was a vampire. They thought that Jack the Ripper was a werewolf.
Well, I don't agree with that because the cuts and the stuff like that, I think, were too precise.
Yes.
He was missing. It was just too clean. And with a werewolf, you're going to have a massacre.
Right.
A possibility could be a vampire. If I would say maybe like an older one that has more what's the word I'm looking for? Self-control. Right. So they don't rip into them. But even then, it just the way I wouldn't even say that. I was more like when I do a lot of research for Jack the Ripper. Yeah. And I've watched shows and stuff like that. I honestly think I feel like they even had something here lately that said they had like somebody they were actually pinning it on that they had DNA evidence or something. But to me it's a doctor. It was definitely someone who had some sort of medical training for the incisions to be the way they were and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I went with that. And that's kind of, but I'm going to have to check on that because it wasn't too long ago. I thought they said they had it pinned on someone. There was DNA that they had from one of the victims that they had kept, and they were able to put it against DNA of a family member who they thought it was, and it came back as a match.
Let's see here. Genetic analysis finally revealed Jack the Ripper. Oh, okay, here. I agree with you. In the very beginning, people were saying that it was a vampire. Then they said it was a werewolf. But you are absolutely correct. The precision of the incisions had to be a doctor.
Yeah, it was too clean.
Or at least someone who was going to medical school.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did have medical school back time. Women could not participate in medical school. That was a male thing back during that time. It does say here that the genetics text published this week, the genetics test point to Aaron Kosminski, a 23-year-old Polish barber.
A barber. That's what I wanted to say, and I couldn't think of it.
Very well possible, because if you remember, during the Wild West, barbers were also surgeons.
Yes.
They were also dentists.
Mm-hmm.
Points to a 23-year-old Polish barber and a prime police suspect at the time. But critics say the evidence isn't strong enough to declare this case closed just yet. It says the results come from a forensic examination of a stained silk shawl that investigators say was found next to the mutilated body of Catherine Eddowes, the killer's fourth victim in 1888.
Yeah.
So they're still mulling over whether it's Kosminski. They say that it does point to Kosminski, but they're saying that
they don't want to just go with it. I get where they're coming from, because the case has been open for so long. But I mean, that's a pretty damning clue there. I mean, so
yes, it is. And my question though is, I don't know if blood lasts. How long can blood be sitting out in order for them to do a DNA test? I mean, does it have to be? Does it have a shelf life? Does it have an afterlife?
No,
or like a half life?
It was another show I watched. They can lift the blood, even if the blood is old by however many years. They could, as long as they can lift a little bit of it, they add a solution to it that they can use. Oh my God, what was that show I watched? I'm gonna have to look into it and figure it out. But they did say, like, it didn't matter as long as they could come up with just a tiny bit, even if it was like how blood dries and it dries like a like flaky. They said even if they could get one flake off of that, they could manage to run a DNA test on it. So
I did not know that. I thought it, after a while, like the results would be weak, and that's what they were pointing to in that article. I just read one paragraph. That's it. It was on the fly. It looks like what they were trying to say is that when the DNA testing came back, the strands of DNA or the markers of DNA were weak, but that, I'm assuming, is like the first hit they've had since 1888, 1889.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that it's weak. I mean, because it was a long time ago, but I mean, your DNA markers, no matter how old it is, it's still going to be there, and you're going to be able to match those DNA markers with whatever you're running it against. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they used this in the Happy Face murders to run DNA against something for one of his victims.
Yeah.
You okay?
Sorry about that for a minute. Look amongst yourselves while I choked to death on a glass of water. Terrible. Some spirits telling me just to keep my mouth shut. That's all. Anywho. Tim says that he doesn't think that Jack the Ripper was from this world. He said, let me clear something up, though. He was from this earth in physical form, but not in spiritual form. He was not of this world. Tim says DNA can be traced back as far as they can go if it's preserved. So I'm assuming that what they got off of Catherine Eddowes' Shaw was enough, or they had it.
If I'm not mistaken, they had that in evidence locked away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're gonna knock myself out.
I mean, that was one thing I could say about Scotland Yard. Even back then, they were pretty on point when it came to like saving evidence. I mean, sterilization wasn't a thing, but I'm pretty sure they kept it away from other things. They kept it locked in a box, making sure that, you know, called humans. Oh, well, Tim said, take a look at Lucy, not our Lucy, not my spirit guide Lucy, not Bros Lucy, but Lucy, I believe, was a Neanderthal, was the first female Neanderthal found. After the Ice Age, they found it somewhere. They traced her DNA back before mankind was even called humans. So that's pretty interesting too. Yeah, if you consider it, what they do with technology today is just amazing, to be totally honest. But this girl here is not planning on getting close enough to a werewolf if she can help it, or a lichen, or anything thereof at this point. Do I believe that they're real? I believe that vampires are real. I really, really do. I believe that there are people that walk this earth that are subhuman. If I could say that word, subhuman maybe is the word. You know, subhuman. Something in my heart wants me to believe in werewolves. But I would believe a vampire first before a werewolf. I don't know. I'm weird like that. I'm weird. You know? You believe. Now I'm going to get all these texts tonight going, you believe in everything and you won't believe in a damn werewolf, but you believe in a vampire. Yes.
Question for you.
Yes.
Why would you believe in a vampire first before a werewolf?
Remember Jurassic Park. Because it's just in my soul saying, you know, maybe not so much. Because to me, now this is just me, to me, vampires do not go through a metamorphosis. They are what they are, regardless. Do I believe that vampires turn into bats and all that thing and fly away? Hell no. They don't fly away. And as far as them being invisible and all that other stuff, no. Do I believe they have the ability of mind control? Absolutely. Do I believe that they have glamour spells down on point, on fleek, like they can do it from far away? and control you? Abso-freaking-lutely. I just, I don't know, and people are going to think bad of me because I've seen exorcisms. I've watched exorcisms. I've participated in exorcisms. Watching something happen to some Hexy. I heard that, girl. Yes, ma'am. You want to be heard on this show. I have seen things, but there was no transformation. You know what I mean? It wasn't human and then not human. You know what I mean? Like you're walking on two legs and then all of a sudden it's on all fours, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Other than that, I mean, I don't want to. I'm not a hypocrite. That's the one thing I'm not. I try not to be a hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite. I don't know. Like the W's, right? And the and the SWs, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are what they are. You know what I mean? There's not. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm jaded too. That's a good question, Jen. I think maybe because that I don't have a really clear-cut answer to. In my heart, it's saying don't believe that. I, you know, but then I'd have to answer to why would I believe vampires over werewolves, and why would I believe in SWs, and why would I believe in the W and other things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe because I've seen them. I've been privy to them. I've seen things happen. Demons, I could stare at a demon all day long. And it's because it never changed. It never shape-shifted into something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
that's the great thing about us in this show. Everybody's got their opinions on things, and that's what makes it great.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Why the hell am I trying to defend myself anyway? Because that's kind of stupid. But anywho, Jim says you were talking about werewolves, which I'm not sure about. But could you be mistaking them for hellhounds, which are real? That's a great possibility. There is a difference between a werewolf and a hellhound. I don't know if any of us are you familiar with hellhounds, Jen? The difference between a werewolf and a hellhound. Okay. Yes. Tim said we had a spirit dog chase us one night, but it was not on two legs, but on all fours. And he's like, makes perfect sense to me. It's like, it makes perfect sense to me. Okay. Hellhounds, I have heard. I have not come face to face with a hellhound, and I hope to never come face to face with a hellhound. Hellhounds are those things that if you hear them, you better make sure you never leave your house until it stops. They are dogs, dog-like creatures with glowing red eyes and teeth that are huge. They look part human and part dog. And a lot of times they don't have any hair. They're commanded by someone that wants to kill someone that's cursed. And those hellhounds, when you hear it, you better start running. Because before you know it, they'll be on top of you.
So
And
the
you're not
stories from Wisconsin, from Bray Road, the werewolf of Bray Road. Do you think that is a werewolf, or do you think that could possibly be a hellhound that people don't realize the difference?
I think that could possibly be a hellhound. To me, it sounds to me more hellhound-ish than werewolf. They are more like demon dogs than actual humans that transform into dogs, to be totally honest. And they have to be commanded by something or by someone. So they can change into anything they want. Makes perfect sense. Maybe I'm getting confused because now Tim is saying they can change into anything they want. I've never heard, maybe, and that's just me. There was a family up in Kentucky, I believe, that fought those hellhounds one evening. Can't remember their name. Maybe I'm getting confused. Maybe I'm just getting confused.
Well, let's see if we can clear that up, Buffy.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like I'm on the attack tonight. Like I'm trying to defend
no,
my life.
no, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, should I pop in or should I not?
You
and
pop in. Look. We enjoy your commentary, and I think you should pop in more often. Totally
absolutely.
Look, I just got questions.
Look. Now we're all confused. Jen and I are both confused to all hell, and yet, just saying.
I don't want you to feel like I have you on the stand or anything.
What's the question? You said you had a question? What's the question?
No, I was just saying I had questions. Like, I like to see the different way people think and why they feel, like how Buffy said. She definitely believes in vampires, but werewolves, she was a little, So I just was, why? Like, what is her reasoning is behind that? So.
Well, I can understand how the confusion comes in because you're talking about 4 or 5 different things here in the spiritual so-called flesh form, correct? So here's in our native teachings, we can't say the word that we need to say for a shapeshifter, right? But a shapeshifter has the ability to turn into anything that it wants to. Not just one entity, not just a wolf. A lot of times they prefer to go into that state because it's more of a tradition to the native people, right? Wolves, native people relate to wolves as being guides, protectors, things of that nature. So naturally, these medicine men will turn into that. Now, the reason I say medicine men, these medicine men were protectors of the tribe, correct? So when the Europeans came in, they chose to turn their spirit over to the negative so-called side in order to protect their tribe. So that's why they became what we know of them today, even though there's other names out there, but I am not allowed to say it. And everybody that knows me and knows my background understands why I can't say that. But the matter is, shapeshifters can change into different beings. As for the vampires, now we know that there's several different types of vampires, and I believe Desiree picked up on one of it real quick when she said they were suckers of your spiritual energy, correct? They're considered vampires. Now they're in physical form. Those are people who are nothing but negative around you. Those people draw all of your positive energy and turn it into negative and make you feel bad. So that's what we call a vampire in our state now, correct?
Right.
So we all know Vlad the Impaler. We all know what he did. Okay. But if you really look into the history of that, he wasn't such a bad guy. Okay. So he tried to take his people. He tried to protect his people from the invaders that come in, and then plus his own family that tried to conquer him, and so forth and so forth. Now, the reason he got the Vlad the Impaler was because we all know that he did a lot of torture to his enemies. Correct? I'm not talking about miles. I'm talking about miles and miles and miles of nothing but rows of his enemies, impaled on these stakes. So the stories, as we all know, come down through generations and generations that he was a vampire. He drank his enemy's blood. He did not. But fact of the matter is, he spilled a lot of blood. He was considered a vampire because of that, and it was more of a scare tactic to his enemies. But there's two different types of vampires. One for your energy, right, and the other one that does nothing but just try to suck everything out of you. So then you have these clubs that are set up. And I knew a guy who was in one of these freaking things. He even had his teeth filed, all of this mess, to make himself look like a damn vampire. They even went through the rituals and everything. Very, very. I'm not going to put this out there because we have listeners of all different walks of life on here. But let's just say that their beliefs is nothing of what I would believe in. So you do have the flesh walkers who do the blood rituals, and you also have the spirit takers who do nothing but take the positive energy from you and suck it out of you. To me, I've always said those are vampires, always. So what else? What else are you confused about?
Well, here's the thing is that I think we went through, like, you did a great job. Please, thank you for explaining, like, Vlad the Impaler, all that. And it's noted that he gained the name of Dracula because in Romanian, Dracul means dragon. His family was the sign of the dragon. He had dragons painted on all of his flags. So that's why they called him Dracul, or Vlad the Impaler, the Dracul, the dragon. And that's how it became to be Dracula, because Americans, of course, America. And there are several types of vampires. There are those who are psychic vampires, and those are people that we discussed this before one time when we were talking about New Orleans having those vampires and doing something called a destiny swap, where they would bump your elbow and do a destiny swap or something like that. Any person that there are psychic vampires that know they're psychic. Son of the Dragon, correct, Rachel? Rachel Zuckus is in the house. Hey, Rachel. You are correct, Rachel. Son of the Dragon. And there are the psychic vampires. There are two kinds. Those that know that they are psychic vampires and do it on purpose. Right? They do it just because why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Why do I have to be happy and be doing stuff and when I can just be miserable and siphon off somebody else's energy? Bottom line. Then you have those who do not know that they're psychic vampires. They've never known. They are the people that just walk through life, and the minute they pass you unintentionally, they just make you feel tired, like you want to fall asleep. They just suck all the energy out of you and don't even know they're doing it. New Orleans, I would believe that there are way more knowledgeable psychic vampires down there that know that they're doing it. And there are those who, like Tim said, I don't know what the fascination is. Again, it's that romanticism. They go to a dentist. There are back alley dentists that if you pay them enough money, they will sharpen your canine teeth for you, even though it's bad for you, as long as they're getting paid. These brothers be out here with the file going, how sharp? Okay, that'll be $2,000. Okay, $1,000 a tooth. Let me just sharpen it.
Look, I'll let everybody know now. If you ever want to put fangs on for Halloween or anything like that, I got a quick, easy way with some Lee press-on nails and some polygrip.
There you go. Put some Polydent on your face, a polygrip, and get yourself some Lee's press-on nails. Go see Jen. She'll help. She will definitely teach you how to file them nails down.
I might do it this year for Halloween.
You know what? You have to come to my house and knock on my door so I can see them. I want to inspect these fangs you got going on. And those who just are fantasized by, are romanticized, are glamored about this whole thing about drinking blood and wearing fangs and the whole deal. I am unsure, but I have to find out. I want to say that there is an actual disease that makes you want to drink blood. That there is an actual illness that you suffer from in order to make you want to drink blood. 1 moment, please.
It's a mental health condition that's associated with the desire to drink blood or vampiristic behaviors. One such condition is clinical vampirism, also referred to as Renfield syndrome.
Yes. And then, of course, there's old-fashioned pica, or pica, if you want to call it that. I mean, if you got pica, then it's possible that you crave blood. I mean, pica is the craving to eat unedible objects or things that you shouldn't be eating, like pregnant women. I've heard of pregnant women eating chalk because they have something wrong with them, that they have a calcium deficiency in their body that makes them want to eat okay. I'm sorry. I just had a moment for a second. I had a moment. That has pica, that they crave things, like they have vitamin deficiencies. Kids who eat dirt, that have a craving to eat dirt. When they have a craving to eat dirt, they have a vitamin D deficiency. There are people that have what is it? I want to say that it's not a vitamin K deficiency, but it's another kind of deficiency where they eat arrowroot and cornstarch all day. That's what they crave to do, so they eat it, and then becomes a big issue for them. They want to clog it up all their innards. A strange addiction. That's strange addictions, and I have. Like, there was one woman on there, she ate fingernail polish. There was one woman on there who ate entire mattresses, like the stuffing.
There was one woman who was eating Comet with bleach.
Yeah.
And it ruined her teeth. Oh my God. It ruined her teeth.
I'm surprised it didn't kill her.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't understand. But they had her in like therapy and stuff and got her to like let off of it. And then a dentist came forward and was really nice and repaired all of her teeth for free. But he was like, you can't go back to eating Comet with bleach. He was like, because I'm not doing this for you to go back to do it and, you know, ruin the teeth. But yeah, like some of the stuff is just absolutely disgusting. Like, I don't even know like what would possess you to want to try to eat something like that.
I'm telling you. And then who was it? Desiree said something about there are iron deficiencies. There are very severe blood iron deficiencies that cause you to crave blood. That's other things, iron deficiency issues. Let's see. I had to go back. Too much paranormal romance novels. Guess who wrote that? Rachel was like, that's because there's too many paranormal romance novels out there, Jen.
And there's a lot of paranormal romance novels there, and I've read a lot of them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm also smart enough to know the difference between, you know, what is a book and not real, and you know, but you know, you can live in that world for a little bit while you're reading the book, and then when you close the book, you got to step out of there and come back to the real world and put your real brain on.
Yes, you do. You can't live in that fantasy world for too long. You know, and Joanne says one girl took a full bleach bath. Like, she would take bleach baths every day. I will tell you. I will tell you that there are times where you can put bleach in your bath. If your child or you suffer from something called ichthyosis, your doctor may require you to put bleach in your bath water and soak in it. Ichthyosis is bleach? Harlequin ichthyosis is the most rare. They don't want you to put like 3 gallons of bleach and a cup of water and sit in it. I mean, no.
So that's just it. A little bit of bleach I could understand, but not soaking in bleach. Like,
they require you, like, for a full tub of water to put like a cup to 2 cups of bleach in there, and that helps the skin. It's something called Harlequin ichthyosis, and that's for someone who's they have, it's hard to explain. They have a skin condition which causes them to either be born with too much skin, too much collagen that makes them have scales so thick that they crack, and that they have to keep putting moisturizer on. And then there are some parts where the skin just sloughs off, like they have no skin.
Like,
and their eyes are red. Part of what?
Like fish, when you have fish get a disease called ick, and it's these white spots is that close to it?
No, this is a whole like skin disease. Wow. Okay, here you go. A life-threatening genetic disorder that affects an infant's skin. This most severe form of ichthyosis is due to a recessive gene. It's specifically the transportation of fats into the skin's outer layer. Mutations in the gene disrupt the dermis, which is the first layer of your skin, or your epidermis, leaving these plate-like scales on your skin that crack and bleed to the point where they have to put lotion on. I mean, they have to lotion themselves up, including their hair, all day long. Some of them don't even have eyelids, that the disease eats up part of their eyelids. So the children are born, when they're born, they look like they have no eyeballs, like it's just red eyes. And they are all pink, and they have, it looks like they have no skin, but what they have is too much skin. And they require them to take bleach baths. That is harlequin ichthyosis. She said no. She bathed straight up bleach, girl. There wasn't no water. Your sister's like, there wasn't no water. It was straight up bleach. It was straight up bleach. Rachel says probably a 1 to 10 ratio. Probably. I would say that. But no dilution for this woman who liked bleach. Blah, blah, bleach bath. Blah, blah. I can't talk tonight. But you know, I don't know. How did we get on the subject of like harlequin ichthyosis? We were talking about disorder.
We do this every time we get on here. We go from one thing and that goes to the next thing.
And now we're talking about harlequin ichthyosis. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. You have just left everything you've known in your plane of existence, and now walked into our world. So, do you believe in vampires and werewolves? That's a good question for you. You've been asking a lot of questions, ma'am, but you ain't been answering nothing either.
I feel that there is definitely something out there that, and it may not be what we've all seen on movies. You need the full moon to transform or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I feel we don't know a lot because I think you may have said it earlier, or somebody said it in the chat. I'm not sure. I feel like if there is a werewolf population, I think they have it pretty well nailed down to keep themselves secret.
Right.
That's why I think you don't rarely hear a lot about them. Mm-hmm. I think that's what piqued my interest when I heard the story that I told in the beginning, because there's a lot of things that just didn't add up, and so part of me, yes, I do believe there is some sort of werewolf. Now, is it like what we see in Twilight or, Werewolf in London? No. But is there something? I believe there is. Same with vampires. I believe there is, back to what I said earlier, everything that we believe that is technically mythical, the story came from somewhere. Something happened along the way that made sure that these stories got to us. And I feel like all the stories and the information that we receive going through history is kind of like a phone, like the game, the telephone game, where I don't know if anybody ever played it when they were little. You started at the beginning, you whispered something in someone's ear and you passed it along, and then you waited till the end to see what it ended up being. And I think you get bits and pieces of the truth and what is real and what is not. And I think there's more out there for us to figure out. And will we ever know all of it? No, I don't think we will. But I mean, you don't get all of that and it's not just here, it's in different countries, it's in different languages. And, for the majority, it's pretty much on point with like one or two things maybe different, but
Mhm.
I do think there's stuff like that out there.
I do too. And you know what? I want to revise my answer to my question. You put up a very good statement. Okay. I would believe a werewolf or let's put it this way. I'll believe a lichen before I believe a werewolf. Lichens do not need the full moon. They can do whatever they need to do to change. They can do a whole wolf out kind of thing and then keep it under control, correct? That's what we said a lichen was, correct?
No, a lichen should only be able to use the full moon.
Okay.
All right. I read earlier. A werewolf, I think they still need the full moon, but they're just a little bit different. The only thing that doesn't need the full moon and can do it at will would be a shapeshifter.
I'll believe a shapeshifter. I don't want to. Right now, my theory is that I will believe a shapeshifter before I believe that they need the full moon to control, to wolf out or do whatever they do. That's just my theory. Does that make sense? That I think they can do it at will. I don't think there's this. There are a lot of theories about vampires too. That this whole cross issue thing, garlic, holy water, all that stuff does not bother them. They will hold a cross in their hand, have no problem doing it, because of one simple phrase. In order for something to have power over you or dominion over you, you have to believe it. Supposedly, vampires do not believe in Catholicism. They don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe in God. So why would they be repelled by a cross?
It's a very good thought.
Right.
And that kind of makes sense.
That they are not, right. Now that they are not mortal, but they are not complete demon either. So they are somewhere in the in-between, right? They're not complete human, but they're not a complete demon either. Because we classify a demon as something that never walked the earth before or in a human body. Let's just put it that way. I could believe that they walk among us. It's just we don't pay attention to them because they look like us. And the fact that they keep to themselves and don't show themselves. I mean, I'll buy that too. I mean, I think the world is just so numb anymore to anything. You know what I mean? To everything and anything. Half of me wants to believe that if there was a real vampire walking down the street, getting ready to bite on some girl's neck, that the world wouldn't even flinch an eye anymore. Like, we've been so traumatized. It's like, okay, just another day in the neighborhood, okay, some weird guy trying to suck on some lady's neck, you know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would bat an eye either. Like, especially when you watch, the people put together the things where they act like they're kidnapping the child in the middle of, a busy street in a sidewalk. And you literally watch people look and keep right on walking. And it's like, who raised you?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And I think it's because they don't want to get implicated anymore. Nobody wants to get implicated. Right? No one wants to get implicated because they don't want to. Now, if I were to see that, you better damn Skippy my ass beat. Excuse me. Where are you going with that baby? Where are you going with that baby? No.
I tell Bruce all the time when I see him, I was like, if something like that ever happened, I was like, it's going to be on the news because I'm hopping on them like a spider monkey. I was like, they're going to.
Oh yeah, you better knuckle up. You better damn well knuckle up.
I mean, I would hope if that was, I mean, both of my kids are grown now, so that's not something that I have to worry about as much. I mean, it still doesn't mean it can't happen. My daughter looks like she's 12, but
I will admit, she does look like she's 12.
She does. You know, she's going to be 28 and she looks like she's 12. But I would hope that if something like that happened and I wasn't there, that someone would step in and help my kid just the way I would do. I mean, kids are, you know, ours to take care of until they're 18 to make sure that they make it through life to an adulthood. And I can't even understand. I'm a very big, firm believer in it takes a village. And, you know, like, why would you just stand there and let someone take that child? It just blows my mind.
Yeah, that is someone's child. I mean, I will even go as far as to pretend to be that child's mother or an aunt and be like, oh, I thought we were going to the car. Da-da-da. Why don't you come with me? Whatever. You know, there are some really sick mofos out in this world. Sick mofos out in this world.
Yes.
And I would take a beat down for a kid any day, you know, if I was to save a kid from being kidnapped.
Yeah.
Or abused. Don't you? Yeah. Kids are my thing. Don't go after kids.
Kids and animals. They're off limits.
Yeah. Kids and animals, you sick people. So I guess my view has changed. And Desiree's right. We're so jaded. We don't see half of what is out there in this world because we all walk on with blinders on anymore in this world. Yeah. And I know it's hard for someone to believe that someone who's been in the paranormal field for so long and seen so much ish for me to say, I believe vampires, werewolves, not so much kind of thing. You know, yeah. Again, I would believe that I would believe in a werewolf, but I believe that they don't need the full moon, all that ish about the silver bullets and all that good stuff. I don't think exists for them. You know, I think that was something that was just made up. And I think the reason that there are so many vampire kits out today that you see in museums is because back then it was unnatural. So it had to be of the devil. So we're gonna curse it and just throw holy water at it because that's what the Bible tells us to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why there's so many kits like that. You know, it just I think that they're out there. I just don't think that all those rules apply to them anymore. And if they've been out there for so long, you would have thought that they would have adapted at some point or learned how to adapt to certain things. You know, like the holy water, the garlic, the sunlight, the silver bullet, the whole deal. Yeah. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Damn it! You put me in a corner there today, ma'am, and I was unprepared for that. You broke me, Jen. You broke me, Jen.
I didn't mean to break you.
Even Tim said, "Not on my watch." As far as the kids, not on my watch. This was a great topic. You stumped me a lot, and you know what? Kudos on you, ma'am. I appreciate it. I appreciate being stumped, and I appreciate, you know what? You made me question myself, which is a good thing. I mean, everybody should question themselves every once in a great while.
Well, I think that's the beauty in when you're discussing something, especially with people who may have different opinions. And you never know. We might come out of this discussion and I'm still headstrong in my belief, and that's what I believe. And then it may not be after listening to your thoughts on it and how you look at it and it's perceived. I may have a different outlook. And I think that's the best part of having discussions like this and being able to discuss it back and forth. And hey, if we leave here and I'm still thinking one way and you still think the other way, it's fine. That's what makes us us. And I just, I like to get people's opinions on how they look at things. Nobody looks at the world the same.
You like to pick brains. I like Tim's comment. Tim, we have to get back to real strange eating habits and stuff. Ate a lot of dirt when I was growing up. Used to love to clean the school erasers when they got clogged up with chalk so I could just smell the chalk dust. Man, that's what's wrong with you. That's what's wrong with you, Tim. You ate too much dirt as a child.
Oh,
and inhaled too much chalk dust. We're just going to leave it at that, but we love him anyway. We love him anyway. I mean, who doesn't like a little dirt, for a snack every now and then and again, To each his own. I'm sure it was delicious.
A little mud pie here and there.
A little mud pie here and there. Let me cut you off a hunk of some mud pie. There you go. I used to do those when I was a kid, but who didn't? This is true. He said to this is true. Oh my goodness. You got anything else to add on to tonight's show, Miss Man? We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes.
No, I think that's it. I think that was a very good discussion, and there was definitely a lot of interesting stuff that we all had to put together for that, and
Absolutely. Dave said, as usual, you gave us a lot to think about. Good to see you all. So we're glad to have picked your brain, Dave Cummings. Always great to pick people's brains. I love picking brains. Not eating brains, not a zombie, but
our stuff for next time. I'm gonna have to come up with some good questions.
Yeah, now see, people, she's gotten used to this. She knows what corners me, and now she's gonna be coming up with all these like odd questions out of nowhere, out of left field. Like, I don't know. What do you think about XYZ? I don't know. That's not even what we're talking about. Okay. A little dirt never hurt anybody, according to Desiree.
God made dirt, and dirt can't hurt.
And dirt can't hurt. That is very true. Well, Jen, as always, a pleasure. I love doing shows with you. And it's always great to have you on the show. And I appreciate your input and great topic again.
Well, thank you.
Again, you had me stumped. And I love seeing Hexy, my little mirror in the background. Mine's over here by the door, just staring at me, wondering if I'm going to give her another snack.
I don't know.
No, she's not getting another snack.
She's around here somewhere.
He's black. She's black. She hides everywhere.
She does. She blends really well.
She blends. All right, everybody. Do not forget to tune in to next Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel for Corner Cauldron with me and my brother from another mother, my WT, my Wonder Twin, Jim Spillin. What we're going to talk about, I haven't figured that out yet. I got another couple of days to spring something on Jim and have him freak out and be like, oh God, here we go. Great shows, witches. Good night. Have a good night. Keep it witchy. And as we always say, love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. Have a good night. We're blessed. Keep it witchy, everybody.